this be? Nintendo thought they could hide this from me? At long last, I finally have it. The one thing that will have Miyamoto grovel on his knees. The Pidgit documents! Hello everyone! This video is going to be a bit different than what I normally post, if the title was any indication. Although I assure you, it's for a good reason. Over the many hours of research that I normally do for Mariomon videos, I've spent a lot of that time browsing the Mario Wiki, looking for information on what enemies could be added to Mariomon. On top of that, some captures just aren't very good, so I also looked into how they could be improved while also making sense with their official material. All of this to say that I've become fixated on one Mario enemy in particular. Pidgit. Let's cut to the chase. Pidgit in Mariomon kinda sucks. Prior to the 1.5 anniversary patch, it was completely outclassed by Magikoopa in every way. From stat spread to moveset, even its in-game location just made Pidgit undesirable. You know how Pidgit is kind of designed to be a fast doubles support mon, and how World 5 has the grass and fighting doubles gym leader? Well, you couldn't even get Pidgit until after World 5, and you really had to go out of your way for it. Compare that to Toadie being available in World 2, which evolves into Magikoopa, aka one of the top most VGC mons. Fortunately, 1.5 addressed this somewhat, with Pidgit being available early on in World 5 itself, and having it gain several valuable tools, like Life Dew, Calm Mind, U-Turn, Weather Moves, and Revival Blessing. That and Magikoopa lost Tailwind, so Pidgit has that going for it now. The issue is, Magikoopa is still good in several ways Pidgit isn't, and Pidgit, despite having a slew of new support options, still has the bulk of a Route 1 encounter. And so, we arrive at the main topic of this video. Just who is Pidgit? And is there something, anything in its history that can be used to increase its potential? For that, we must start at Pidgeot's very origin, a little game some of you may know as Yume Kojo, Doki Doki Panic. Did you know? Doki Doki Panic was actually a licensed collaboration between Nintendo and the Fuji Television Company, made to promote the Yume Kojo Festival in 1987, which was an event that promoted upcoming electronics and media. Now you know! This game introduced a variety of enemies that would later become Mario staples, like Bob-ombs, Pokies, and Birdo. Oh, Birdo. In Doki Doki Panic, Pidgit was originally known as Dodo-Riguez, a portmanteau of Dodo, the extinct flightless bird, and Rodriguez Solitaire. It's another type of flightless bird, but it sounds more like the name of a legendary gambler. Hey, how you doing? I'm Rodriguez Solitaire! Next card's gonna be blackjack and 50 grand! Anyway, Pidgit was first seen as a member of Wart's gang, the 8 Bits. Fun fact, instead of taking place in a dream, Doki Doki Panic takes place inside a storybook, where the Dream Machine is used to give the residents of the Subcon dream world good dreams. Wart would then use this machine to create the nightmarish monsters for his army. Pidgit is actually a native species of Subcon that enlisted into his forces, unlike Birdo, who is an entirely artificial creation. Wart also kidnaps 2 children in this version, but we're getting off topic. After the release of Mario Bros. 2 in Japan, known to the rest of the world as the Lost Levels, Nintendo of America determined that the game was too hard and too similar to the first game, leading to the conversion of Doki Doki Panic into the Western Mario Bros. 2. This version would later be released in Japan as Super Mario Bros. USA, because it represents our goddamn American freedom! Pidgit is first seen in a few levels in the early to mid-game, where the player would have to jump on top of them, pick them up, and toss them off the side to their deaths. Their magic carpet can then be piloted by the player in order to traverse large gaps. The instruction manual describes them as, "The flightless crows are the bearer of bad dreams. They soar through the sky on magic carpets given to them by Wart." This confirms that the magic carpet is not Pidgeot's own, but a gift. Does this mean that Pidgit has no strength of its own? Perhaps being the bearer of bad dreams implies some inner power? We'll just have to see. In the Super Mario Bros. All-Stars collection, Pidgit got a major spotlight on the title screen as a Mario Bros. 2 rep, right alongside the main Mario cast, and Birdo. In the Mario Bros. Advance version of the game, many enemies got unique giant versions, like Big Shy Guy or Big Ninja, and Pidgit got nothing. I mean, for Pete's sake, Birdo got the giant mech based off of her. Okay, well, let's take a step back here. There was a release of Mario Bros. 2 for the Super Famicom Satellaview service called BS Super Mario USA. It was a version that would be streamed live, complete with high-quality music and live commentary from the Mario cast.
Let's go! Hi, Luigi だよ。
こんにちは、ピーチです。キノピオです。
The BS stands for Broadcast Satellite, although it should really be short for bullshit. Not only does Pidgit not get a speaking role, but we got not one, not two, but 3 separate Birdo voice actors in these broadcasts. They would much rather invent the King of Subcon to get a voice, and not Pidgit. Considering we don't see Subcon's king ever again after this, I can only assume Pidgit killed him themselves. Add that to the count. The last thing I want to bring up before we move on from Mario Bros. 2 is the origin of Pidgeot's flying carpet. This man is Yoichi Kotabe, an animator that worked in the anime industry in the 70s that would get hired by Nintendo in 1985. Kotabe was the man who created the classic standardized look from Mario, Peach, Bowser, and many more character designs that we still see today. His first ever animation project for Nintendo was Pidgeot's carpet in Doki Doki Panic. As stated in this Iwata Asks interview, I wanted the rug movement to be smooth. Oh, that! I wanted to move like a real rug, and I thought I'd ask Kotabe-san. To Kotabe-san, the great illustrator, I said, please draw me a rug. How awful. So I drew him a rug that moved smoothly, and he told me it had too many frames. The original animation had over 10 frames, but we needed to cut some out and repeat the same ones over and over so the frame count would be low, but the rug's movement would be smooth. I think it was 3. And we used them in reverse, too. That was the first video game work I ever requested from Kotabe-san. Pidgeot's magic carpet was so straining on the Famicom hardware it had to be nerfed before the game came out. If only we got to see Pidgeot's true majesty. Next on the list is Super Mario World, which is honestly quite the surprise. Pidgit doesn't seem to appear anywhere in this game, and yet if you beat the Special Zone or complete all 96 exits in the Advanced version, you will unlock Fall. On top of the world map literally being the season of autumn, many enemies will appear differently, including but not limited to Jack-o'-lantern piranha plants, Koopas wearing Mario heads, Buzzsaw Pokies, and Bullet Bills become Pidgit Bills. This is a subtle nod to the fact that Pidgeot's full name is Pidgit William. It looks less like Pidgeot's rounder design and more like a generic crow, probably why they made it look more like Pidgit in the advanced version. Plus, aren't Pidgeots supposed to be flightless birds? They also forgot to change the sprite for vertical bullet bills, so I guess they didn't care that much. Pidgit Bill also makes a cameo appearance at the end of Super Princess Peach when, spoilers! Peach beats Bowser. Just wanted to get that game out of the way now, because the less said about Peach using her extreme emotions to find the vibe scepter, the better. Next we have... Oh, that's all the mainline games Pidgeot's in. No, that can't be right. Pidgit barely did anything. All we confirmed is that it can't even fly on its own, but it also bears bad dreams? There has to be something more to this guy. In that case, let's dive into the spin-offs, shall we? Pidgit appears as a stage hazard on the Mushroom Kingdom 2 stage in Smash Bros. Melee and Smash Bros. Ultimate. The name of this stage honestly confuses me because it's clearly Subcon and not the Mushroom Kingdom. The Japanese name for the stage is Ancient Kingdom 2, or Ancient Kingdom USA in Ultimate. At least here we know it can be any old kingdom and not the Mushroom Kingdom specifically. Pidgit will ride in on its magic carpet occasionally, acting as a moving platform players can stand on. Birdo also appears on this stage, shooting her eggs to damage players, but unlike Pidgit, she can be attacked and damaged to fend her off. Sadly, Pidgit only uses its 2D sprite from Mario Bros. 2, missing out on the one opportunity it has to get a 3D model. Yet the carpet was made 3D. Weird. In Melee, Pidgeot's trophy states, Pidgeots are wingless birds enchanted by the vegetable-hating wart to be the bearers of bad dreams. They live in Subcon, a land contained within Mario's dreams, where they fly around on magic carpets. Mario and friends were able to use these carpets for short distances, once they dislodged the piloting Pidgeot. This doesn't seem quite right to me in all honesty. They are described as wingless birds, not flightless, yet their art clearly depicts them with wings. It also clarifies that Wart enchanted them to be the bearers of bad dreams. Are we supposed to believe that Wart granted them their carpets and their innate bad dream powers? Why single out Pidgit specifically? Even in Mario Bros. 2 manual, Pidgit is one of the only enemies described as having some sort of bad dream power. What did Wart see in Pidgit that we don't? Anyway, in Smash Ultimate, Pidgeot's spirit can be fought in the Mysterious Dimension section of the Dark Realm. Scary, I know. The fight takes place on the Mushroom Kingdom 2 stage, with a single Princess Peach wearing all black and a rocket belt. Pidgit is classified as a 2-star rank support spirit, which is close enough to how Pidgit plays in Mariomon, I suppose. Also, did you know that Sephiroth's wing is composed of the same material as Pidgeot's wings? Give Pidgit Oblivion Wing! Pidgeot's one and only RPG appearance would be in Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. They are found fairly early on in the game on Yoshi's Island, marking an odd connection to Yoshi not seen in any other game, aside from maybe Super Mario World? They can appear either on the ground by themselves or in the Baby Mario and Luigi Sky-only areas alongside the Norantula enemy. In addition, there are two variants, the standard variant and the bag variant, that drops more coins when defeated. The bag variant is also faster than the regular one, despite carrying more weight for some reason. You know what? I'm happy for Pidgit here. They are completely unfazed by the alien invasion and subsequent slaughter and harvesting of the native species of the Mushroom Kingdom, and I think that a positive outlook on things is nice. That or they're secretly working with the Shrooms as a means of profiting off of the remains of the kingdom, but that's just a theory. There's also an obscure Pidgit appearance in the MS-DOS game called Super Mario Bros. And Friends When I Grow Up. This is a very basic coloring game for young kids, themed around various Mario characters working different kinds of jobs. Link is also there in only 2 scenarios, so the friends in the title is a bit misleading. Pidgit is seen resting on Mario's head in the Zookeeper scenario, with the description, Mario the Zookeeper thinks he's one lucky fellow. After all, not many zoos in the world have such unusual creatures as Birdo, Triclide, and Pidgit. Zookeepers take care of the zoo animals' needs. Not only do they feed the animals, but they also see that they get regular medical care. Aside from the disturbing implication of Birdo being locked in a cage when she is a grown woman who owns a house, this does mean that Pidgit has health insurance. Side note, but what may or may not be Pidgit shows up in this piece of concept art for Super Mario RPG. Maybe. It's a black bird next to Mario riding a flying carpet, so it just screams Pidgit. It could just as easily be a random bird or an early design for Dodo from the final game. Wait. Is Dodo related to Pidgit? Dodo is a flightless black bird with feathers coming out the back of his head, and Dodo could be short for Dodo Riguez. I'll just end this tangent here. The next couple of spin-offs we're looking at here are interesting because they're part of a short-lived Pidgit and Wario partnership.
Oh yeah!
The first game in what I'll call the Wario-Pidgit Forest duology is a SNES game simply titled Mario and Wario. Some of you may already know this, but the game was actually made by Game Freak, who released Pokemon Red and Green just 3 years later. The sky level theme is remarkably similar to one of the route themes too. interesting to see the Pokemon devs wrapped up in Pidgit lore. This game was actually going to be an original horror game that used the Super Scope before becoming a Mario game with a SNES mouse, because they thought Mario would sell more. They were right. Here, Wario encounters Mario, Peach, and Yoshi in the fairy forest, and he decides to drop buckets on their heads from his plane, for some reason, not sure what he gains from this. It's up to Wanda, the forest fairy, to guide these three to Luigi, since she can't take off the buckets herself. Wanda herself was designed by Ken Sugimori as a carryover from the earlier stages of development. But enough of the preamble. Where is Pidgit, I hear you ask? Well, I actually lied to you. Pidgit isn't in this game. Instead, we have Pidgit Jr. That's right, ladies, gentlemen, and all the rest. Pidgit fucks! Pidgit Jr. appears nearly identical to Pidgeot's Mario Bros. 2 sprite, only without the magic carpet. Unfortunately for us, Pidgit Jr. is even worse than regular Pidgit. All Pidgit Jr. does is stand in place for you to click on it and to destroy it. So you really have to go out of your way to get damaged by it. Worse still is that it makes an audible ouch sound when you click on it, so it feels like it's in genuine pain. Not looking good. Pidgit Jr. might not have been great, but Pidgit itself appears in the second game of the Wario-Pidgit Forest duology, Wario's Woods. Here, Pidgit is one of Wario's top henchmen, summoning monsters that Toad has to line up to destroy. This, to my knowledge, is the only time Pidgit is seen flying on its own in any game. He's also incorrectly called the Black Bat in the English instruction manual, adding more fuel to the fire that they really just do not care about Pidgit. Side note, but whenever Pidgit and Wario aren't on screen dropping monsters, a forest sprite and Birdo are there to help Toad. What is it with Birdo showing up in these games? As part of Wario's puzzle-based conquest of the peaceful woods, Wario has sided with not just Pidgit, but other, far stranger monsters. A mermaid, a dragon, golem, pig, guy, the Grim Reaper, and Fauster. Remember this character. It may not seem like it now, but Fauster is the single most important character in all of Pidgit lore. You'll see soon enough. That's all of the spin-off games Pidgit appears in. All we really got is that Pidgit, or Pidgit William, is pretty well off financially, has good health care, and they have a child. You could maybe consider the monster summoning one of Pidgeot's abilities, but Wario could also be responsible. From here on, we're going even deeper down the Pidgit rabbit hole. Onwards to the supplemental material. Our first stop is a Japan-only encyclopedia called Perfect Bon Mario Character Daijiten, released in 1994. Every single Mario enemy that existed at the time is in this book, complete with character bios. They're all classified by clan or race, like the Shin Megami Tensei demons or something. Pidgit is of the Fly clan, known to be monsters that attack from the air. Many of them are useful. It has a gloomy nature, and the description states, according to the Mario Wiki, an oddball who, despite being a bird, arrives on a flying carpet. It is difficult to grasp its movements, as it moves left and right and then swoops down. If you defeat Pidgit, you'll be able to control the flying carpet. A pretty standard description, although the mention of its movements being difficult to grasp is amusing. Pidgit being gloomy is also kinda sad. Just what happened to this poor guy? Pidgit Jr. also has its own description. It's also a member of the Fly clan with a quiet disposition. The description reads, "Son of Pidgit. He can't fly even though he is a bird, and he waits for Mario, wriggling his feet on the ground. Hit him with Wanda's wand to make him disappear." Again, pretty basic. Though we now know that Pidgit Jr. is specifically male, despite Pidgit using its pronouns in its description. Pidgit Jr. also seems to be more shy than his parent. We can also glean a little more about Pidgeot's interests with the officially licensed Mario quiz cards. Instead of Mario-themed trivia, these cards were meant to help children learn a wide range of topics from history, science, math, and more. From what I could find, Pidgit seems to be a fan of the arts and sciences, particularly in space and sea travel. Pidgit is also a strong believer in equal rights, and knows how people feel pain. I'm going to take a look at a couple other quiz cards. Alright, Spiketop is officially a draft player, that's kind of neat. I wonder what Spiny thing— oh! I think that's enough quiz cards for today. I'm quickly going to mention that Pidgit has exactly one piece of merchandise. It's a rare plush made for the release of Super Mario All-Stars back in 1993. Here you can see Pidgeot's rare blue color palette. I would have loved to get one for this video, but they're really expensive on eBay, and I'm not the kind of YouTuber that actually has money. Moving on to animation, Pidgit appears in a couple episodes of the American-made Super Mario Bros. Super Show. It's even in the show's early concept art, as you can see here— oh my god! What the fuck am I looking at? This isn't Mario! Everything looks wrong and scary! Also, Pidgit is yellow? Thankfully, the final show doesn't look like this. It just looks cheap. In the episode Mario's Magic Carpet, King Koopa calls a group known as the Pidgit Express on Mario & Co. The Mario Wiki has a page dedicated to implied organizations, and they describe the Pidgit Express as a mercenary group?
It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines.
A horde of Pidgets fly in, not on flying carpets, and we learn two very important pieces of Pidgit lore. One, Pidget's favorite food is carpeting.
Pidget's favorite food is carpeting.
And two, the Pidgit species has their own unique language.
Hey, I just remembered. I speak Pidgit. Pidgit, Pidgit, Pidgit. Pidgit, Pidgit.
Pidgit! Pidgit!
Pidgit eating carpet is very strange, to the point where it makes me wonder if the showrunners have actually seen Pidgit before this. I'm willing to believe in the Pidgit language though, that seems pretty on brand with what we know so far. The second and surprisingly last time Pidgit appears on the show is the episode called The Unzappables. I say surprising because other Mario 2 enemies appear more often. Lurie appears in 3 episodes, and Cobrat shows up in a whopping 11. Neither of them are even in Mariomon, so who cares? Anyway, Pidgit is seen when Mario & Co. infiltrate the Koopa Club in Crime Land, where it plays its iconic saxophone. There's even concept art for this episode featuring Pidgit and its bandmates. This show kind of sucks, by the way, just thought I'd get that out there. If you really want to watch it, I'd stick to the live-action segments. They're the best part of the show by far.
Are you the same Dr. Frankenstein that created that big, ugly, scary monster?
Yes, but I wouldn't talk about him like that.
Why not?
Now then, we're almost at the home stretch. It's time to look at literature next, starting with the final book of the Nintendo Adventure Books series, Brain Drain. This is a choose-your-own-adventure book, starring Luigi as he, Mario, Peach, Toad, and Yoshi all work to discover the source of a mysterious radio broadcast that swaps the mind of the people who hear it. In case you don't know what a choose-your-own-adventure book is, Luigi graciously explains how it works before signing off with "Driplessly yours." Weird. I'll just give you the highlights of the book for the sake of time. Yoshi is distressed with the sound of the radio, and for some reason exclaims with plorp, gorp, and dorp. Yoshi's mind is then swapped with one of the Koopalings, and Mario and Luigi go out and search for answers. Luigi also becomes really obsessed with a soda brand named Fungus Up. The whole kingdom turns to disarray, all of the cops have the brains of piranha plants, and Mario and Luigi end up in a psychiatrist's office to meet with a character called, and I'm not kidding here, Dr. Sigmund Shrinkosaurus. He's a smoking goose man based on Sigmund Freud. I get the feeling this guy's not gonna make it into Luigimon. So Dr. Shrinkosaurus thinks that everyone's crazy for believing in mind swapping. He turns on his radio for some music, much to everyone else's horror, and suddenly, everything goes to black. When Luigi wakes up, he finds himself in Iggy's lair, inside the body of a Koopa. They show this by drawing a mustache over stock Koopa art, and I just find that adorable. Anyway, the synapse switcher machine is in just the other room, the reason behind all of the mind swapping. But Luigi decides to get something to eat first. And this right here is where Pidgit comes in. If you choose to order a pizza and call the right phone number, you will see this interaction. Luigi punches in the code, then lifts the phone's receiver. He dials a number. "Magic Carpet Pizzas," someone answers. "Send 1 large pepperoni pie to the Koopa Command Center," says Luigi. 5 minutes later, a magic carpet pulls up to the window of the cafeteria. Luigi opens the window and takes the pie from the delivery crow. "Just put it on my bill," says Luigi. "Get it, Bill?" "Ha ha, very funny," huffs the crow. Despite not being mentioned by name, this is clearly Pidgit working a pizza delivery job. Far more importantly is the acknowledgement of Pidgit bills, and by extension, our good friend Pidgit William. Though this honestly sounds more like a bird joke with bills and beaks and whatnot, but I'd like to think that was a deep-cut callback for real Pidgit fans. Oh, and Luigi destroys the synapse switcher because he pours fungus up on the machine or something. We're moving on. Pidgit has 2 different roles in the Super Mario comic series made by Valiant in the early 90s. What's notable about these comics is that they prominently feature King Toadstool, Princess Peach's father. He's honestly kind of an asshole and doesn't appear in anything after this, so I can only assume Pidgit killed him. Add that to the count. In the comic titled Magic Carpet Madness, we see a group of Pidgits arrive at Peach's castle with their cleaning service, after the king tracked mud all over the carpet. This, along with the book I just talked about, are the first times we've seen Pidgits speak outside of their own language, with one Pidgit in particular saying, "Dibs on the shag." While the Pidgits are cleaning, Bowser pours a suspicious liquid into their cleaning machine. When they're all done, Princess Peach gives them chocolate chip cookies as thanks, with one of them remarking, in a heart-shaped thought bubble, "Ah, extra chocolate chips. She loves me." We can now determine that Pidgit is into human women. The flying carpet juice that was imbued into Peach's carpet now takes effect, sending her up through the skylight, all the way into the sky. Upon realizing she's entered the Koopa Zone, she exclaims, "Oh, f***!" and, "Oh, double f***!" when Pidgit appears. This is a big moment for Pidgit's characterization. They describe Peach as the girl of their evil dreams, before hypnotizing her into submission. Could this be the power to grant bad dreams mentioned all the way back in Mario Bros. 2? Complete mind control? The next time we see Peach, she's in an entirely new punk-themed outfit, riding a magic carpet alongside the Pidgits. The king looks on in abject horror, and Mario himself confirms to us that the Pidgits used their evil dreams to make her sleep ride. The thought that Pidgit could use their powers for world domination at any moment terrifies me. Mario and Luigi don't even do much to stop Peach at this point other than growing a beanstalk. As soon as the Pidgits force her to fly through Bowser's blimp, she crashes into the beanstalk and snaps back to normal. It's not explained why Pidgit even crashed Bowser's blimp to begin with, since this whole scheme was Bowser's plan to begin with. Their cleaning service van did say it was in association with Wart Enterprises, so perhaps they were double agents still working for Wart. We actually get to see Wart and Pidgit work together in the second comic, Cloud 9. King Toadstool is very tired after not being able to get any sleep lately, so he takes the Mario Bros to Snooze World, a mattress store owned by, oh, would you look at that? Wart Enterprises! Wart lures the king into the elevator, where Pidgit, spelled with an E, uses its magic carpet to carry the elevator high into the sky. Instead of just killing the king right then and there, Wart just decides to have him sleep on a cloud bed instead. Only for Mario and Luigi to save him later just before the cloud dissipates. Side note, but I really don't like how Wart looks in this comic. He just looks like Bowser, but with less features. Up until now, we've seen Pidgit as a hardworking parent who works a 9 to 5, a dark and powerful master of evil dreams and the human spirit, and as an incompetent grunt who has had all of their powers given to them by someone in power. But which one of these is the real Pidgit? For that, we must look at the manga adaptations. These last few pieces of material will prove once and for all what Pidgit truly is. I hope you're ready. I'm only going to mention Super Mario-kun briefly, as not only does Pidgit barely appear, I never really liked the style. It always looked very flat to me, and the samey character expressions are unappealing. The credit where credit is due, I respect Yukio Sawada for still working on the Super Mario-kun comics to this very day. Aside from Pidgit holding fans with the rising sun symbol on them, Pidgeot's Mario Bros. USA appearance is pretty standard. Pidgit Jr., however, actually gets a named character in the form of Tamagodon. Poor guy got his shell broken open before being cooked and eaten by Yoshi. That's kind of messed up. And now, Kodansha. Oh, Kodansha. This is my favorite Mario manga adaptation, if only for just how weird and imaginative it is. All of the characters are really expressive. The author, Kazuki Motoyama, loved to have these story arcs where characters from previous game adaptations would reappear, including some original characters. He honestly did more with Princess Daisy than Nintendo ever did at the time, including her in several game adaptations where she didn't originally appear, and having her actual death scene in the adaptation for Wario Land. It's not perfect, we don't talk about the Tetris volume, but it just has way more going on than Super Mario-kun. This manga is also famous for the art of Luigi being crucified, and that one panel of Mario with his pants off. And yes, that censor is necessary, and this image is in Mario's gallery page on the wiki. To show my appreciation for this series, allow me to pull a quote used by the Japanese Wikipedia page for Kodansha Mario. If Sawada-sensei is the Tokugawa Ieyasu of Mario manga, then Motoyama-sensei is Oda Nobunaga. Beautiful. Sadly, Kodansha's Super Mario license expired in 1997, and the series would never be picked up again. Motoyama's last work in 2019 would be based on one of his original characters for this manga, Kinope-chan, and he has since passed away in 2025. I know this is just a silly video about a single Mario enemy, but I wanted to take this moment to really appreciate the work that goes into even the most obscure pieces of media. Now then, on to the adaptations. My Japanese is still pretty rusty, so I'll be using the wiki as a guide for these descriptions. Thank the Mario Wiki for their work on summarizing this manga. I hope the rest of the chapters without pages get them someday. In the Mario Bros. USA adaptation, it takes place in Mario's dream like in Mario Bros. 2, only here he envisions himself and the rest of the cast as farmers living in a shack on the American prairie. Mario even introduces himself as American Super Mario 2 Mario. A large mouse steals a bag of seeds Mario was going to plant, and so the group runs off after it. They find themselves entering a dark cave where they encounter an impending figure.
You mustn't go any further. Beyond this point is Wart's domain.
The group bravely gives chase, but the figure slinks back into the darkness. They all fall down a pit into the world of Subcon. A while later, Mario and Co. encounter a group of Bizo who plead with Mario to break the curse placed on them by Wart. Suddenly, a POW block drops from above, causing them to fall into the nearby quicksand and drown. It was Pidgit, who wanted to silence them for saying too much. The main cast, in a fit of rage, grab onto Pidgeot's magic carpet, knocking Pidgit off and into the quicksand. Yeah, so Pidgeot's just dead? They never show up for the rest of the adaptation, so they actually just suffocated in quicksand here. Thankfully, this isn't the only adaptation Pidgeot's in. In the Mario and Wario adaptation, Pidgit Jr. appears in the second chapter after Wario drops a Wiggler grenade and escapes on his plane with a kidnapped Luigi. Yoshi starts the course by quickly running into walls while Peach moves slowly and carefully, referencing their movement speeds in the game. This distracts a pair of Pidgit Juniors who are watching them while enjoying a cup of tea, only for Mario to appear from behind and kick them off the course. We then see a frustrated Wario remembering the time Wart lended him the Pidgit Juniors, calling them his strongest soldiers. Wario even curses Wart out and calls him a liar. It seems like Pidgit Jr. is destined to be the bottom of the barrel even compared to his parent. Now then, this is it. The final appearance of Pidgit in any piece of Mario media, the holy grail of Pidgit lore, and the truth behind Pidgeot's power. Everyone, I present to you Kodansha's adaptation of Wario's Woods. An adaptation so bizarre, so off the mark, it's non-canon even in the context of these other adaptations. This standalone story is a wild ride, so buckle up. Let's dive in. To quickly summarize the events of the prologue, a young Mario, Birdo, and Wanda team up to stop Wario, who has kidnapped Peach. Wario teamed up with the ancient demon Fauster, who was unsealed from his tomb after years of imprisonment. I told you to remember Fauster! With the help of the Iron Toad mask given to him by Wanda, Mario nearly defeats Wario before he is married to Peach. Pleading for the power to defeat Mario, Fauster possesses Wario's body, turning him into the gargantuan Satan Wario. Satan Wario summons a horde of monsters to conquer the whole world, but Mario puts a stop to it with the sealing charm that turns Satan Wario to stone. With Fauster sealed away and Wario presumably dead, the prologue ends with Peach giving Mario a kiss as thanks. If you thought Satan Wario was completely insane, you haven't seen anything yet. The main story starts after a 20-year time skip, with the older Mario and Peach having married and living peacefully in the woods. A pelican, not a stork, flies in to give Mario and Peach their baby, who they decide to name Luigi. Yes, Luigi is Mario's son in this timeline. The pelican flies away to finish its next delivery, which turns out to be a reincarnated baby Wario. Wario is dropped off at the Satan Wario statue, where he tricks the pelican into removing the sealing charm. With Fauster freed for the second time, he grows Wario back into an adult. And the single most important event in this entire video, Fauster uses his magic to transform the pelican into Pidgit. Pidgit was a creation born from the devil's magic! I'm not joking! This whole time, Pidgit just seemed so mundane, so weak, and yet it was made by a demon this whole time! It was all a facade! That's why it never swore its allegiance to anyone. Not Wario, not Bowser, hell even Wart wasn't Pidgeot's boss in some of these games. Is Pidgit a form of demonic punishment for those who are inflicted? Does this mean that every other Pidgit is a devil's creation? Do the Mariamon devs know about this? Is that why Pidgit has revival blessing? We don't know! After this, Wario kidnaps the baby Luigi to use in his new scheme. What's weird about this is that we see Pidgit flying without the magic carpet, which we've only seen in one of the Super Show episodes and in the Wario Woods game. We can probably chalk the episode up as non-canon, but the fact that this Pidgit was originally a pelican could explain why this is the only one that flies in the games. Mario then encounters a young toad named Kinopio-kun, who is the one who discovered the Iron Toad mask after the events of the prologue. We then cut to Wario, who is using Luigi in a sacrificial ritual. Wario uses Fauster's demonic power to summon the boss characters from the game. One thing I noticed while trying to read this is that Wario says the phrase, Elohim Esaim. Now I thought this was strange, as Elohim is the Hebrew name for God, thanks SMT, so I did some digging. The phrase appears to stem from a grimoire known as La Poule Noire, from as early as 1521, and ended up becoming a popular phrase in anime and manga when a character beseeches God to listen. Though in Wario's case here, he actually calls out to the devil. What's really messed up here is that La Poule Noire can translate to the black hen, and Pidgit is a black bird. Not a hen, but food for thought. As the story progresses, Mario, Peach, Wanda, Birdo, and Kinopio-kun all work together to defeat the boss monsters, but they're too late to stop Wario's ritual. The baby Luigi is sacrificed to give Fauster his true power, and the two fuse to become Devil Luigi. This somehow isn't the last time Luigi is fused with an antagonist in some sort of ritual. Devil Luigi soars through the sky, unleashing monsters across the whole world. Japan, America, Belgium, China, Switzerland, Australia, Thailand, and countless other nations are swarmed by monsters. Mario dons the Iron Toad mask once more, growing giant thanks to Wanda's growth potion. It was a subplot from the prologue, but it didn't feel like mentioning it to save some time. Devil Luigi can't quite bring itself to stop Mario, as baby Luigi's subconscious is afraid of being punished by his father. Mario grabs Fauster's trident and stabs Devil Luigi's shadow, killing Fauster once and for all, returning baby Luigi back to normal, and even Pidgit returns to being a pelican once more. So, what have we learned from all of this? Here's what I think. Pidgit, also known as Pidgit William, is a resident of Subcon who potentially has the innate power to grant nightmares onto those who look into its eyes. They began to work for Wart during the events of Mario Bros. 2, where they were given their flying carpets. Perhaps it's because of these gifts that they stay loyal to Wart even when they work alongside other villains like Bowser and Wario. After Wart was defeated, Pidgit William struck out on their own, working various 9-to-5 jobs in order to support their growing family, including their son, Pidgit Jr. Pidgit loves art, science, the rights and liberty of the people, all while choosing to hide their demonic origins so that they can live a normal life. You know, maybe we've all been too harsh on Pidgit. Time and time again, they're treated like a complete joke, even when they try their best. Pidgeot's life is nothing but a tragedy. At the end of the day, no matter how insignificant it may be, this single enemy from this video game franchise deserves better. So, this video was about finding a way to buff Pidgit and Mariomon, right? Well, I don't know, give it Nightmare and have it evolve into Wingo from Captain Toad Treasure Tracker or something. Maybe remove Revival Blessing to compensate and make Dodo a fighting-type split Evo. That'll work. Probably. And thanks for watching.
I wonder why they call this place Crime Land. Everything seems peaceful to me.